On June 4th and 5th, the Manitobans for the Arts will be holding their annual general gathering. Called New Voices, Fresh Thinking, the event will feature 2 days of learning and conversation on how artists can engage, sustain, and strengthen the arts sector. This gathering will feature a keynote address by renowned award-winning cultural strategist Patricia Huntsman. Huntsman has worked across Canada and internationally in senior roles in the creative industry for 25 years. The annual general meeting of the Manitobans for the Arts is sure to be an informative and rewarding event and a great way to network and exchange ideas. And here to tell us more about Manitobans for the Arts General Gathering, I am joined by Brendan McKeen, who is the chair of the Manitoba for the Arts Board. Hi, Brendan. Great to have you here.
I'm so excited. I love being here all the time.
It's turning your second home. I want to start out the conversation by, can you talk about about the history of the organization? How long has it been around, and can you talk about the mandate of it as well?
Yeah, so in the before times, Manitobans for the Arts was really focused on political advocacy. Arts vote, get out to vote, talk to your prospective counselors and MLAs about the value of arts, and let's make sure we're sharing all the good things. So we were really heavily involved in advocacy, and we were going days at City Hall, days at the legislature, talking to people, making sure everybody knew the value of what we offer, which I think I'm preaching to the choir right here to our listeners. We all know the value of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we did that. And then, of course, things closed down for a little while. The sector had some real hard times. And so we kind of gathered as a group and said, okay, we need to actually think about doing more beyond just going to government all the time. So really what we do now, we still go to the government. Don't worry, we didn't leave that part behind. But we also are invested in trying to make sure the sector itself is stronger, that we're creating opportunities for tools, for people working. We have so many independent, smaller organizations, even medium-sized, where it's kind of a team of one doing an army's worth of work. So how can we make sure that person knows everything they can, knows all the best things to do, and can save them some time and effort and just make their organization stronger? So that's kind of basically what we do now is we, ask to support the sector and then help the sector improve as well.
And you were mentioning events. My understanding is there was an event yesterday, right? Do you want to tell us about that?
We were just Arts and Culture Day at the legislature, chatting up a bunch of MLAs. There was a whole bunch of delegates and a reception afterwards, just celebrating how arts is invested or is just intertwined with so many things.
Yeah.
When you talk about mental health, one of the things that always pops up on the top of the list is arts and culture.
Totally.
And so it's real interesting just to make sure that we don't just talk to sports, culture, and heritage, that we talk to everybody and go, we're a solution to so many things all over the place. One of my biggest anecdotes I always say is, one of the safest times to be downtown is during the Fringe Fest.
Right.
There's people walking around all over the place, running to see new shows constantly. And it's just, that's the power that arts and culture has.
Absolutely. I want to turn it over to the overall question of the arts community here in Winnipeg. It's incredibly vibrant. There's choirs, there's many ensembles, there's opera companies like Manitoba Underground Opera.
Thank you for the shout out.
You are the executive director of that organization. For you, what are some of the biggest hurdles that the arts community continually has to deal with here in the province?
Truly, I think especially over the past few years, every discipline recovered at a different rate. And that kind of made for a lot of different things that everybody needed within our sector. We're all related, but museums and galleries had a different recovery than performing arts. And so it's interesting just to see kind of the differing things that we needed support with. We all needed support. That was the overlying thing we all could agree on, no matter what. We all needed some support. So it's interesting kind of to see how we have moved forward through that, and audiences returning and admission rates going back up higher. And then also our community is just constantly changing. Truly, the demographics of all of Manitoba are constantly shifting. And as I said earlier, those groups with one staff person, it is real hard to keep track of where your demographics are changing year to year. And you're just like, I just want to get my show done today. That's all I have time for. So it's really interesting, with this gathering that's coming up, is it's a chance for all of us to come together and share share the concerns we have, share where we're going, what's happening, and then just learn how we're going to look to the future.
Mm-hmm. Can you expand on some of those aims? Like, how is that going to be done on the 4th and the 5th for the gathering?
Yeah, well, so on the 4th, that's kind of our big day to gather together. The 5th is a bit different, but the 4th, there's going to be a good keynote where Patricia's just, her experience, by the way, is just phenomenal. She's worked in fundraising, she's worked in marketing, she's served on boards, she's curated, she's done everything from, the volunteer position all the way up to the board volunteer position, everything in between. Mm-hmm. And she's really, her background truly is about cultural strategy. She's not saying, it's some of it, of course, will have some quick fixes, some things here and there, but it's also okay. Where are we going 5 years from now? Where is this naturally going to lead? And how are we going to prepare for that? And that always involves a little bit of change. Yeah. What are you going to do to, the 7 worst words that a lot of arts administrators hear is, well, we've always done it that way. Yes. And you go, oh, okay, well, that may have worked in the 80s, but we're different people 40 years later.
How did you learn about Patricia Huntsman? I was on her website. She's just fascinating. Sounds like a wonderful art strategist.
Yeah, and you know what? This I will give absolute credit to my incredible board of directors that serves with me. There's so much talent on that board, and there's so much connection across the country. And, we had a gathering last year, and then this year what we wanted to do is kind of shift a bit and have somebody come in and take charge of more of the full day. And her name popped up kind of right away. So we had some chats with her and really felt what she is offering is exactly what a lot of Manitoba organizations kind of need to hear and need to incorporate, but then also, walk away with it and go, okay, what's next? Yeah, it's truly
where do we go from here?
Exactly. It's meant to be a little bit of a big ideas sort of thing. Thought, the corporate buzz terms always the thought changes, and it's all about that. But it's also so important that we're just chatting with each other on those breaks at lunch.
Can you talk a little bit about the itinerary? I know that my understanding is that on the 5th, there's going to be some one-on-ones that Patricia will take part in. But what happens on the 4th? Could you get a little bit into depth in that?
Absolutely. Keynote sessions. Of course, there's going to be an introduction, but my style is always to not take the full time. Don't worry, there's not going to be a half hour of me speaking. People are already getting tired of that now. But then we're breaking out into sessions to talk about specific topics. As I said, every organization, every sector, every discipline has a different need. Yeah. And so there's always a chance just to focus in on the specifics that are going on. There's also going to be a session about, what are we stopping doing? What's stopping us from change? There will be, this isn't actually published, so this is an exciting little preview exclusive for you. There's going to be a couple drag performers on hand. Right. That are meant to go, okay, let's think about things differently for this moment in time and realize what we're clinging to that we don't need to be. So that's a fun little thing because I don't think it's published. So that's for you.
And then people can register for one-on-ones with Patricia Huntsman?
Exactly. And that's again, just even furthering the different needs. A one-on-one, about 20 to 30 minutes, come with your burning questions and go, hi, this is my organization. This is how I do things. This is my issue. This is the thing that I can't figure out. This is the thing I need advice on. And I just don't know how to move forward. And it's just her and you just get complete one-on-one, free consultation time. Excellent. And so we're specifically making sure it is across the organizational size. It is for the one-person staff, and it is for the biggest, and is a mix of in between because we understand that those one-person teams need a little loving. As I run one of those, and I am a one-person team, so I get it.
Sort of doing everything. Is it only members that are allowed to attend, or is it anyone who's involved in the arts sector?
Truly, we think it's Sometimes when you read the descriptions like these, you kind of go, oh, it's probably just for executive leaders and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, this is for anybody who is working in management as well within an organization, or somebody that's just started recently. These are meant to be skills and training and thoughts that will take you through your career for years to come. So
Sweet.
I would say anyone, especially in an organization, or if you're just an artist and you're putting on an event soon, this would be great for you, because this is going to talk about what audiences you want to attract and how to reach different audiences. And so for single artists out there, this is also a perfect time for them to gain those skills too.
Yeah, which is so important to being a successful artist.
Truly, have people see your art, you
Yeah,
know?
that's it. As chair of the board, I'm presuming this is not your first general meeting. What were some of the things people were saying after last year's meeting? And what ideas were sort of championed? Do you remember?
Oh, honestly, it was last year in June we did one, and truly people were just so grateful to gather and chat. It had been, that was kind of the return post-pandemic of, well, let's all get together, and as arts and culture people, not under a different umbrella, but just as arts and culture people. And it was fascinating to see the ideas. It's amazing what you do when you put two people together, and they can chat for 5 minutes and they can immediately go, oh, if I do this thing, that you do that part, and then all of a sudden we have this idea where we're crossing disciplines and we're doing this, and it's half the work that it would have been.
Yeah. And you get a collaborative aspect and sell tickets.
Right. It was just, even at the day at the legislature, there was two people talking and figuring out, oh, you do touring? Oh, I've been meaning to do more touring, and I don't now have all the resources, and you have like connections and you have the lists, and you could help me get touring to, you can help me get up to Thompson and get out to the Paw. I wouldn't know how to do that on my own.
Right. Absolutely. It just sounds so great. What are you looking forward to most about the annual general gathering on the Wednesday and Thursday on the 4th and 5th?
I'm looking at seeing all of my colleagues, looking forward to seeing all my colleagues. I love it. We work so hard in all of our 9 to 5s in our offices where we see our organizational staff, but we don't often get to go, hey, hey, Chris from the ballet, let's go get lunch. It's like, no, well, I'll get to see Chris there, and that'll be great.
Mm-hmm. And the arts community in Winnipeg is surprisingly, with it being so vibrant, it's surprisingly small. One person knows another person, right? It's
classic Winnipeg, right?
Yeah.
It's everybody knows everybody's name, and if you walk down the street, chances are someone's cousin is right next to you that you already know, and it's how we work in this town. But we don't often get to really have a good chat with people. We see them at like an opening night, and it's, oh, how are you doing? Great, I'm fine. You good? This week's busy. Okay, awesome, great. Now we have to find our seats. Bye. Yeah.
That's the way it goes. Where can people go to join Manitobans for the Arts, register for the annual general meeting, and just in general find out more?
Great. Manitobans for the Arts. We've got our website up. It's real easy to process your membership. And I will also highlight our members. It's arts organizations, arts workers, but also arts lovers. If you are somebody who doesn't work in it, but you just think, gosh, arts and culture, they need a little bit more help, and we need to get them more help and more support. And I love it so much, and I couldn't imagine this city without it. That's a perfect thing. Arts lovers do that. And I will say, it's especially helpful when we go and talk to government and other people outside of it, that it's not just the people working in it who are saying we need a bit more. If it's the community behind us, the argument gets so much easier. So I will say, check out Manitobans for the Arts, our website. Register on the Eventbrite page, and renew your membership, because maybe it's 6 months past. It's time.
Perfect. Brandon, this has been so fantastic to have you back in our Classic 107 studio. All the best on Wednesday and Thursday, and thanks so much for taking the time to stop by and talk to me today. This has just been really wonderful.
I can't wait. I'm going to put a little sleeping bag in the corner, and I'm just going to start spending the summer here. It'll be tremendous. I can't wait.
Perfect.